This is a not safe for work clip. We've been talking about how there's this right-wing crack up. And again, I'm not like following this. It's a
civil war.
In many, it's like there's like almost like 4 different parties fighting in this war, though. I can't.
It's like Yemen.
Honestly, I can't follow it. I honestly cannot follow the various like sort of intricacies. The other day, Tim Pool had Milo Yiannopoulos on. Milo claimed on that show that Charlie Kirk was gay.
And everybody else.
In response to Candace Owens saying that Charlie Kirk was looking to get a divorce, I guess somehow implying that Erica Kirk was in some way happy that Charlie was taken out of the picture. Then Yiannopoulos went on to say that Benny Johnson was gay, and everybody knew that. And George Santos was like, "Wait, aren't you afraid of getting sued?" And Yiannopoulos was like, "I don't get sued because I've got the facts." And then Benny Johnson on Twitter said, "I have to protect my family." And then Milo Yiannopoulos went into
and said, "I look forward to discovery." And now things have gotten kind of quiet on Benny's end.
Benny seemed to quiet down, but apparently somebody took a shot, according to Tim Pool, at his compound.
He's very sensitive about the compound.
It sounds, though, like he has an idea of why they think they did it. It was because it had to do with all of this right-wing turmoil and about him, either like platforming people who are disagreeing with Candace Owens or disagreeing with Candace Owens or what. And then last night, I think this was last night or yesterday, Tim Pool just lost it.
Candace Owens is a fucking evil scumbag. She is a degenerate. She is burning everything down, and she's gloating and smiling while she does it. And you know what you fucking told me? She has no security. She doesn't fucking deal with the shit we have to deal with. She's a piece of shit. She's making everyone else suffer. And all of these fucking conservatives out there that send me these fucking messages have no balls to call her out. More and more people have started doing it. They send me these messages. Good for you, Tim. Good for you, Tim. I wasn't the first person to do it. I'm not going to take credit for that. But don't DM me like I did something for you as you cower, scared that she'll put you on her thumbnail and claim you benefited from Charlie Kirk's assassination, which she's doing to me right now.
Yeah, that was the...
I'm done with these people.
She has security, just not on the level of you.
Oh, yeah, the one fat guy you mentioned with no wall and no barrier in a suburban neighborhood with neighbors. She doesn't give two fucking. No one's out for her. She's lying about all of this. You told me you went to her house and she's got a 4-foot wall and one fat guy, and she doesn't give a about her security. Meanwhile, I get bullets fired at my property, and I have to go live in the middle of nowhere. And I got strangers coming up to my house in Maryland, breaking in. I got people showing up and beating up the residents who trying to live there. How the am I even supposed to sell this property? And, it's all lies. It's all hypocrisy. And it is for the purpose of making money. And she does not live the way other people live. And she claims she liked Charlie. She loved Charlie. And she is burning everything down that he built because she is evil. She is evil. And I'll say it again. This conservative movement is fractured. It's fried, whatever it is. Okay. Republicans are on track to lose the midterms. They were actually trending in the other direction until Charlie Kirk was murdered. Yeah. And this is the point, isn't it?
Okay, pause it. Now, you see, this is where what interests me about this clip. It is simply not the case that Charlie Kirk's assassination hurt the Republican project. The Republicans were trending out. The big thing was the shutdown. I mean, you already saw a difference in the generic ballot where Democrats were trending better. But through the shutdown, it has progressed. And as Trump's policies progress, you can look at it in the disapproval numbers for specific issues. As that has grown, you have seen Republican chances in the midterms drop. And, this is part of it. It's like, okay, there's all this drama. That's all well and good.
The property value of the compound, yes.
Yes, all these things. But I don't care about the drama here. The problem is that, like, even this casual misstatement of fact about the Republicans' opportunities in the midterm is indicative of this entire world that they have built. Like, I honestly cannot quite follow what is going on here. Here's Mike Cernovich complaining Republicans in Congress have decided to toss the midterms. They want to lose their House and Senate majorities. Then Trump can be impeached again. This will create baggage for J.D. Vance and allow the chicken hawk warmonger establishment to take power back and do amnesty. And then Benny Johnson says this is exactly what's happened. A coordinated attempt to rip the MAGA base from the inside. Okay, this is relevant because, look, apparently, Tim Pool thinks that he is being attacked, like literally, because he is pushing back on Candace Owens. He is saying that he's getting texts from other conservative talkers that they're afraid to take on Candace Owens. Meanwhile, you see Benny Johnson and Mike Cernovich spinning this new conspiracy theory. My point being is that all of these conspiracies that they live in, all of this sort of like fictionalizing of reality. January 6th was just a tour, and then it was just patriots, and then it was just boomers, and it was just whatever. All of this, like we're going to have a civil war. They're saying this like a year ago.
Trump might win 49 out of 50 states in 2020.
And that at least is
saying.
Like just a bad prediction.
Fair
I'm just
enough.
talking about all of this entire, like we're going to bring InfoWars guys onto the show.
The alternate reality they live in. Yeah.
Like they invented this genre.
Yeah.
I mean, going back to the John Birch Society. Mm-hmm. And it's certainly like you can find pockets of it across all ideologies, but the entire conservative, as he says, movement, their infotainment complex has trafficked in so many different conspiracy theories that there's literally like a war between conspiracy theories that are going on. Like, dude, I can barely follow it. And then the one shred of like relevant material it's completely wrong.
Right.
I mean, like, just you can look at the numbers and you can see this. And so they have built an entire house of sand.
Yes, and it's also in a way that tries to absolve Trump and appeases the cult of personality that has populated their audience. You notice that even Tucker Carlson won't take really direct shots at Trump. It's always some sort of subversion, or they'll look at an underling like Kash Patel or Pam Bondi. It's always someone that is hurting him internally, or there's a conspiracy internally within the party that's going to hurt their chances. And so it's exactly what you're saying, but it's also immensely cowardly and there to satiate the base that they have cultivated because they are all a part of the cult as well.
And you talk about, Tucker Carlson. People forget this. When he left Fox, he rebuilt his audience by talking about how he was attacked by a demon in the middle of the night.
Yeah.
Who woke up the next morning with scratches all over him because this devil figure that is like akin to like what was it, like Saul and I just watched it. Oh yeah, no, Stranger Things, like one of those like what are those called? Gordon? I can't remember. I don't. Yeah, it's a kid's show. But I mean, this is their entire. Like even just Cernovich right here, just talking about.
Can you put that back up, please? I want to see the Cernovich thing. Yeah.
It's all just about coming up with crazy ass conspiracy theories that provide sort of like pre-digested answers, ones where you need to know nothing, where it's all just like these fictional stories. And now it is eating itself. It is like watching the snake eat its own tail.
Yeah, and it's so disconnected from reality or anything material that they can't even address what's happening with the policies or the fact that the Republicans are presiding over one of the biggest transfers of wealth in one bill with the one big ass ugly ass bill that's about to hit. The fact that they're kicking tens of millions of people off of their health care, whether it be the ACA subsidies expiring, allowing that to happen, or whether it be the gutting of Medicaid, and hurting Medicare as well. They can't even address the substance of it because they're living in a parallel universe. It's like what Naomi Klein spoke about with Mirror World. They are in their own ecosystem.
If we had a Democratic president, a Democratic Senate, and a Democratic House,
yes,
this show would be every day the driest MFer show that you could imagine, where we would be talking about different.
That was 2021.
This show has been that for probably a decade. At various times, but when they get power, they can't do anything because there's no policies behind it. Like, their agenda has nothing to do with making the country better in a way that provides any type of material support for the greatest number of people. It all becomes a culture war that you can only talk about so much. You can only talk about the lies about trans people ruining women's sports and taking over and changing it and gender stuff. You can only talk about this so much until people go like, we get it already. And then they have to just start spinning these conspiracy theories, weather machines. And that's the way, it's the way that Marjorie Taylor Greene made her name for herself and became the biggest fundraiser there. And then ultimately it just ate her too, because and she had to jump out. InfoWars, and then it just keeps spinning and spinning and spinning and spinning until they decide to get off, like Milo Yiannopoulos on some level.
And that's why they're mad at Candace Owens. And just to bring it back to, wow, he really dropped the hard C word with the T at the end, which is in the UK, maybe that's all right to say, but that's pretty harsh words for a woman. And I know that he enjoyed that, but that's why they are upset about Candace Owens. And he's saying she doesn't have a stake in this or whatever. She just has one fat guy. She's not really worried about her safety, whatever. The fact that she's being critical of both the Republican Party, with her anti-Jewish hatred that also sometimes sounds like anti-Zionism, but also her critiques of the rest of the media ecosystem, it's bothering them deeply because it's aren't we supposed to be all on the same team? But with the Republican administration being this unpopular, someone's going to break off, and she did.
And if you look at what creates fractures within sort of our ecosystem, it is always policy or some type of strategy, or is it incrementalism? Is it rebel? This is they're just talking about these bizarre conspiracy theories that range from, and look, we have this vacuum of information that the killer was supposedly arrested 3 months ago, and then all of a sudden everybody went radio silent when it became clear that they couldn't make anti-trans hay out of this or anti-liberal hay out of it. And then they were just left with oh, okay, now what do we do? And they're all in some type of grifty business. And it was just the first person who went there.
Yeah, Cernovich can't even be honest with himself when he says, allow the chicken hawk warmonger establishment to take power back. They bombed Iran and they're trying to go to war with Venezuela. They're fine. But Alex Perrine had this great piece, 2017, the long, lucrative right-wing grift is blowing up in the world's face. It says, you don't need to understand the GOP. You don't need to understand the alt-right. You pretty much just need to be in semi-regular contact with a white, reasonably comfortable male retiree. We are now ruled by men who think and act very much like that ordinary man you might know. And if you want to know why they believe so many strange and terrible things, you can basically blame the fact that a large and lucrative industry is dedicated to lying to them.
Yeah.
And I would just recommend that piece because it is just basically the lunatics took over the asylum.
And now all the the lunatics that they have promoted are now like attacking them because this is like some type of like literal internecine war amongst them. Meanwhile, you got like Nick Fuentes is now sort of like, trying to mainstream himself, and he's, agreeing with Tim Pool. And it's all just sort of like in this weird milieu. And we're just watching, like, literally, it's like, on some level, like, I don't even want to like talk about it because there's a certain amount of like TMZ quality to this.
Yeah.
But it also, here's the thing. All of these people were intricately and intimately involved in getting Donald Trump into office and promoting these lies and creating this ecosystem. And it is fascinating, but also materially relevant into what's going on down, with all of this stuff. Who knows?
Exactly.
I don't know if there's any more that's relevant. Let's just play a little bit, but then I want to get to this other part.
Liked Charlie, she loved Charlie, and she is burning everything down that he built because she is evil. She is evil. And I'll say it again, this conservative movement is fractured, it's fried, whatever it is. Okay? Republicans are on track to lose the midterms. They were actually trending in the other direction until Charlie Kirk was murdered.
That's not true.
And this is the point, isn't it? The most effective political assassination in history, and thanks to the likes of the vile Candace Owens, she has turned Turning Point into the perpetrators of the crime that was against them. I don't get paid by any of these people. I'm not on good terms necessarily with Turning Point USA. They didn't invite me to their stupid event. I don't want to go. I don't want to go.
Oh my God.
They invited me back after I started criticizing Candace. I'm not going to your event. I'm over all of this. The last thing that I need to deal with is a bunch of cowards in conservative media refusing to stand up to her. Megyn Kelly, come on. I appreciate the kind words, but come on. Such fucking pathetic shit. And I get people saying, Tim, thank you so much for talking about it. I don't care.
See, this is what's so
I'm not doing a
fascinating.
favor for
Is that,
anybody.
like, what he's revealing here is that all of them, they don't speak any truth to power whatsoever.
No, they're cowards.
They're afraid, and they're all they've all apparently been texting Tim saying, thank you for saying something. I'm too afraid to do it. Megyn Kelly has a huge platform. They all have huge platforms, but they also realize that they have created monsters, that their audience are full of deluded monsters, and they don't want to get on the wrong side of it. So they won't disavow them of their crazy beliefs because they don't feel like it's their job. It's their job to surf on top of those deluded beliefs.
That's what Marjorie Taylor Greene said. The same thing, that everybody trashes Trump behind his back, but nobody will come out and say
Exactly.
Yeah.
The whole edifice is built in that way. The whole edifice is built on that way. And
the fact that Charlie Kirk is at the center of it really just lays bare how deeply cynical it all is. I mean, when they couldn't unite around a conspiracy theory about the death of their colleague and monetize that effectively, they have fractured internally within like their own industry. This is not about the midterms. So let's separate their little war between each other from the fact that the Republicans are harming the economy and hurting people, immiserating them, right? This is a separate thing. But it is interesting how you're seeing that play out.
the American public doesn't care about what's going on here with these things. I mean, their audiences do. These people can be effective in helping. Now they're just simply an absence of helping. And that's a problem because the Republican policies are very, have a bad effect on people. And in the absence of like more lies being spun to sort of support it. But all of this has been like, look, even the central aspect about Charlie Kirk, he was lauded as a free speech warrior, and no one ever pointed out that his organization was built upon and continued to blacklist professors in college universities, to literally shut down free speech. Like, that was the fundamental building block of TPUSA. They had college or chapters, and the primary function of those college chapters when it was founded was to report on professors. Like the entire edifice was built on anti-free speech. And yet they lauded this guy as a free speech warrior because he would go back to those same colleges and debate college kids in public.
Yeah.
And the fundamental contradiction there fell apart. And so it was interesting. And people are saying, this is the first time Tim has ever sounded genuine to me. Yeah, he's legitimately angry. I think part of it is also, there was another clip I saw where he said, like, they're having to spend money on security. And, when I was there a year ago, it was almost to the day, Tim had made major cutbacks on staffing because I think they had overextended themselves with that Russian money. So who knows?
Moonlord's going to have to be the bodyguard.
But, the drama is the drama. They can have fun with it. But what's really important is it's very, very telling because their entire apparatus in many ways reflects what has always been the MO of the Republican Party. Even going back to Paul Ryan. And Paul Ryan would talk about he had a fake story that he said was his that actually came from another person in Wisconsin, another a state official, about a poor kid who didn't want to have free lunch at school. He wanted a brown bag lunch. And it was a fake story just to build up the idea that if you are poor or some way, or you rely on a free lunch, you don't have the same moral righteousness as someone who gets their own lunch. And that ideology is exactly why you got Donald Trump. Because Donald Trump gets on stage, and if you are morally unrighteous because you are poor, you are the most morally righteous if you are rich.
He's the
and so
prosperity
he sits on that
gospel
stage,
president.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And he's like, I'm a billionaire, so everything you say is wrong.
Yeah.
Because I have more money than you.
Jennifer Welch just talked about this, about how that he's basically a televangelist. She said this when she came on with me, and how his base of support is a lot of evangelicals who already have that kind of framework in mind for somebody to admire, and they will willingly give their hard-earned money and donate to these people, regardless of the fact that it's quite clear that these are scams. And Trump fits that archetype perfectly.
It was like Mesmer, the Mesmer who people enjoyed this guy's snake oil salesman because they thought they were in on the side that was on the side of lying away from.
Yep.
In on a joke.
Yep.
Too much winning. We can't take it anymore.
Yeah.
That must have been from years ago.
That was 2016.
It sounds so much
You're gonna
more
be-
energetic.
That's when you're going to be tired of winning, Jag. And
Yeah.
that was actually true for all these people. They would be in such a better place professionally if he had lost the election last year.
Oh, yeah.
Oh yeah, they can be a victim.
Hey folks, don't forget to hit the subscribe button and check out our daily show. We do it every day at 12 p.m. Eastern for about 2.5 hours. We even take phone calls. You should check that out.